As data scientists, we deal with tons of data in various forms. It can be integer, boolean, strings, date, times, or anything. As you can see the table, there are temperature, date, location, and here we name it as BRICS countries: Brazil, Russia, India, and China, and South Africa. And we do have the rows and columns, which rows, the columns can be the variables, and the rows are the data. We can say that as observations. So let's see how we can convert this into like a rectangular data. In Python, we call as the data frames, especially in pandas. So let's see how we can convert this table, the breaks table, into the Python format. In this video, I'm going to show how to install pandas. So first of all, you have to go to terminal. Go to terminal here, pip install pandas. And let's import that one. It's installing. I'm going to import it. Ed bricks. So this is how we can create this in a data frame by using the dictionary. As data scientists, we deal with various forms of data. Suppose we work in a chemical plant. We got temperature measurements to analyze. I'll show you the table of our data here. Yeah, here the data comes in different forms. I showed in the label. It's kind of spreadsheet format. So here we can see the rows or the data are the observations here, and the columns are the variable. Here the temperature and is in integer, and date, time, and the location as strings. And also here we can see the next table, so called the BRICS table. BRICS are the country, the initial names like BR for Brazil, and Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And the capitals are strings, and area measured in millions and million square kilometers, and population are in millions. So we have similar kind of different form of data we deal in day-to-day life. All right. So how we can get this data in Python? So in order to do the dataset in Python, we need a kind of rectangular set of data. I know what you think of now. The 2D numpy arrays, isn't it? Yes, that's one way, but that's one kind of way, but that's not the best one. Um, so in order to do this in a perfect way, here comes the pandas package. Pandas form from the numpy package, but in comparatively, numpy are very efficient. Sorry, pandas are very efficient than the numpy. Um, so the pandas can easily handle these data efficiently, and we can in pandas we store the tabular data like this in brick table like the brick table and object called the data frame. I'm going to show you now how we can do this in practical. So there are so many ways, several ways uh, to make the data frame. So number one is from the dictionary. So let's do that one first. I'm going to import the pandas data frame. Before that, I will show you how to install the pandas library. Okay, now um, here input reading, and as we learned earlier about the dictionary, I've created a dictionary for the bricks data. If you don't know, or if you are curious about how to make these such kind of dictionaries, in my previous video I have explained about the dictionary. Please go and have a look then, so you can get um, a basic idea about the dictionary, so you can understand what we are doing here. And then I'm gonna name it as bricks called pd dot data frame. Then in here, as an argument, I will pass my name of the dictionary here, dict. Let's see how the bricks works. Yeah, here you can see the data frame. This is how it looks, and here we can see the row. This one we name as row labels. These it pandas automatically set from 0 to 4 as row labels here, because we didn't specify any row labels in our code. And here we can see the rows. The rows are the observations, and the columns are the variables, the country, capital areas, and we can see the data here. So yeah, this is how the data frames look like. But you know how to set this as manually, the these things, the row labels. So here we have to use the bricks.index, bricks, and within we have to assign the bricks.index to the list, whichever we want to as the row labels. In this case, I want this one as row labels. So BR for Brazil, RU for Russia, IN for India, China, and South Africa, and so on. So it will manually we can add the row labels by the dot index method. Let's see it works. There we go. As we intended, we successfully changed the automaticals from 0 to 1 as our intended row label. So that's how the row labels work. Mm, so yeah, those are using the index method. Yeah, so this is the first method as dictionary method. But this one is fine. But as data scientists in day-to-day life, we work with tons of data. So if we have more data, the dictionary method is not the appropriate one, isn't it? So we have to import the data from an external file, which is called CSV, the comma separated values. I'll show you an example of CSV file which I have created uh, here. So the data here look like this one, the comma separated values. Like this is an example of CSV file. I named it as this one, crxdata.csv, and this one is in my download folder. So I'm going to show you how we can import these data here. It's exactly same thing, the bricks table, as we saw already, like in a spreadsheet format. And I'm going to show you how we can use the second method as importing the CSV file externally to the Python. So I'm going to delete this code as I need this. I'm going to comment this one and these two. So first I have imported the pandas as PD. Then the second one, I'm going to name it as bricks and PD read CSV. So the read CSV file will read our CSV file, and as argument we have to pass the path of our CSV file. My path is, I'm going to copy my path as arguments, and in, oops, and that's it folks. But you can see uh, here we get the data frames by importing our external file. But I'll give you some 2-3 seconds. Find there's something phishing. What is it is the row labels here, you can see it as columns by their own. We need to solve this. um, the first column should contain the as row indexes. In order to do that, we have to pass as second arguments here as index call. We have to set this to 0. By setting this to 0, we can get rid of the doing the doing by their own. We can set this, we can disable that one, and we can use our manually set one as our row labels. So this is how the pandas works, and I will see you in another video with more by loc and iloc. Yes, we can do this using 2D numpy arrays, but it's an option. That's not the only way. There are more efficient ways than that one. which is there comes the pandas packages. So I'm going to show you how we can do this. There are several ways to do that. First way is using the dictionary. So in the dictionaries, we know with the distinctive curly brackets with following by the keys values pairs. I'm going to do that way. So I will choose the columns as the keys and the data are the values in a list. In a list. So yeah, so these are the keys are the columns and the country, capital, and area, and the values here are in list format, which represents the the row or the observations or the data, whichever you call them. So now, how we can convert this into data frames? So I'm going to name this as bricks, PD data frame, and I'm going to pass the name of my dictionary, which is this one, as the arguments. Let's print this one. So yeah, we got the table here, as we see that previously, like in a spreadsheet tabular format. But here you can see from 0 to 4, pandas automatically set some row labels here. But to specify them manually, we can set the index attribute and we can put the list. I'll show you how it works. Breaks dot index, and we can put the list whichever we want according to us. I'm gonna say here BR for Brazil and RU for Russia and IN for India and CH for China and which for South Africa. You are right, SA. Yeah. So here we set them as manually. So this is how we can transform this in pandas data frames. So here using the dictionary attribute is fine, but if you deal with tons of data, thousands, millions of data, so how we can do that? There should be a easier way, isn't it? So I'll show you. We usually take the CSV file, which is comma separated values. We export it using external file. It should be in the external file, and the data in the external file, the data can be in the comma format. We call that at CSV comma separated values. So I already did. I transferred these data into CSV file in my download folder. So I'm going to show you how it works. I'm going to comment this one. Right. So yeah, I already created exact same data in in Crix data. I named the file as crixdata.csv. I used the Microsoft Excels, and I have included all the datas we have in the bricks table, which is exact same thing, and save it to csc crixdata.csv file in my downloads folder. So the code for that one is we just put the name. I prefer bricks, and pd.read CSV. This attribute will read the file, and in the as arguments we need to pass the location of our file, data file. So I have did that one. So let's see how it works. You can see it's the exact same thing, but you can notice, but it automatically put the 0, 1, 2, 3 has in the row column. So I don't need this. So you can specify that index call equals 0. This code will remove it. Hello everyone. Actually this video is a continuous video of my previous one. We had a look about data frames, pandas data frames in my previous videos. There we mainly use that will give the appropriate labels. This video I'm going to talk about the exact same thing, because it's very crucial to access columns, rows, and each and every single elements in data frames very easily. So when it comes to index and selecting data, there are two main types. The first one is square brackets, which is a basic one, and the more advanced one, which is loc and iloc. So we're gonna learn about those two in this video. So first of all, I wanna um, explain the square brackets. Before that one, you can see that in my screen. This one we previously learned the from CSV file how we extract that one in data frames. So please, I will most probably I will I will attach those two videos in a video so we can learn continuously, isn't it? So yeah, let's come back to the topic. So when we talk about square brackets, rather than talking too much, I'm gonna show you on by practical. So let's run this code. Oops, friends. So this is my bricks table. Let's have a look. So yeah. So the square brackets only works if you wanna select the whole column. Whole, you can see the country column, capital, area and population columns, and the row labels, the Brazil row, RU row. So these things, if you want to select as whole, we can use these square brackets. So bricks, just put the square brackets and the your preferred label. You can type, you can put that as a parameter, and let's see how the outcomes. There we go. We got the country, we got the bricks table, all the country columns. So Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And also you can see, you can notice that one. This one is not the pandas data frame clearly. Let's see the type of this one. So let's see. So this one is a panda series. So how can we change that to data frames? Let me show you. Here we have to put that into double square brackets like this one. This is our intended format. And also If we check the type of this one, I will show you with the output so you can understand clearly. So it's this one is a pandas data frame. All right. Suppose if you want the country and the capital column, let me see the table of that one. I mean our pandas, our bricks table. Okay, if we want the the country and the capital table, capital columns. Okay, so it's very simple. You just type the column whichever you want, and it will print out and or it will show the output whichever you are intended. So yeah, that's how it works. If you want two columns um, in a data frame format, you can select it from the whole table. You can select whichever the column you want. This is the most important thing using the square brackets. And also you can see that in other perspective, we put a list in square brackets, in another pair of square brackets. And also we can use the same square brackets to select rows from a data frame by specifying a slice. So for example, if you want rows, I will show you how we can do that by using the square brackets. So the code for that one is breaks, and for example, I need the first, let's say first three rows, Brazil, Russia, and India. So one, for example, let's say I need Russia, India, and China, first three rows. So because mind that indexing starts from 0, so Russia is from 1, then India and China 2, 3, then 4. I need Russia, India, and China. Let's see the output. Yeah, as intended, we got the Russia, India, and China. And always mind it, the last one, which is 4 in this case, is exclusive. So it will include only one, the first element, second, I mean the indexing of first, second, and third. Fourth one is exclusive. So that's how the slicing works. So that's how the slicing works. We can select whichever the column we want. For example, if I want only Brazil and Russia, I will put 0 and 2. I'm telling that second time that why I'm putting 2, because 2 is exclusive. Only the Brazil and Russia will be included. So indexing, we have to keep in mind that last element in the square bracket is exclusive and it start from 0 and 1. That's it. Let's see. Yes, that's how we want. So yeah, that's about slicing and selecting the columns using the square bracket method. This square bracket method works but only with the limited functionality. You can see that it's pretty much similar to 2D numpy arrays. Um, Similar to, I'll show you, like this one. The the one before the comma is row, and the after the comma represents the columns. Um, so yeah, it's pretty much similar to 2D numpy arrays. So if we need to do the same thing using pandas, we need to extend our toolbox. That's here comes the loc and iloc functions with more extended functionality. Let's have a look on loc function. So loc is basically the label based. Both are pretty much Same the loc and iloc, but the loc we it's a label based. We can we can separate. So in square brackets we can take the whole column, or we can take the whole rows. But in loc and iloc, we can select the rows, we can select the columns, and we can select the rows and the columns at the same time, as we want it. So the loc is label based. It's a technique to select parts of your data based on labels. And iloc is the same thing, but it's integer position based. Uh, let's have a look on loc, how the loc works. So print bricks dot loc, and here I want to select the, let's say, country, or RU. I mean the I want to select the Russia row. So here comes the country, capital, area, population, and everything. But you can see that again, this one is clearly not the data frame format. So again, we need to put in the double bracket with another pair of square bracket, and the same thing. And there we go. We get the entire whole row of Russia in a data frame format. Is a good old data frame. If you don't believe me, let's see by seeing the type. As you can see, this one is pandas data frame type. So the Python can't lie. So yeah, that's the one. Um, so if you put the double brackets, we can use the loc for these things. Suppose we want to include India and China. It's very simple. India, China. And if you print that again, we we can add the two more rows similar to this one in a data frame format. So this only selecting the entire row, that is something also to do with basic square brackets. So let's extend it to only include the country and the capital columns. So now we are going to do the country and the capital column, the country column and the capital column, but the exact same thing as Russia, India, and China. So the way to do that one, this one is the distinct feature apart from square brackets. This can do the exact same thing by the square bracket. So the reason why we need to use the log function is the key feature is this one. Again, in another square bracket, we can specify the column we want. So these rows I want, and the columns I want is only the country column, and capital. Let's run our code. There we go. So as we intended, we get the three rows, Russia, India, and China, and we get only two columns, which is country and capital, which is good. Um, yeah, and also you have a question. No, no, I want all the columns, all the rows, but only country and capital. Yeah, we have a solution for that one. Simple thing. For this one, you can specify with the colon, which means it will select the entire rows, and the second one, it will only print the country column and the capital column. You can see this one, the exact same thing. It prints all the rows, but only the specified columns. So yeah, this is how the iloc works. So I'm gonna give you a short recap of what we learned so far. So the square brackets, the we can access the columns, the whole columns, and we can do the slicings like breaks, and we can specify into double square brackets to in order to get in the data frame format. Then also, if you want to get the rows, we can use the slicing method. And in the slicing method, the first one is inclusive, and don't forget the index method, indexing. It starts from 0, and also the last element is exclusive. And also the loc function is more versatile. It can select rows and columns at the same time. And also it's pretty much similar to 2D numpy arrays. Okay, if you want to subset pandas data frames based on their position or index, you need iloc function. So here, this is the loc function is based on the label based, and if you want to do the exact same thing but using the integer index method, so there comes the iloc method. Let's do it for Russia, for example. So print bricks iloc, and Russia is in second one, isn't it? Yeah. So in the previous one, we have used the ru, isn't it? Uh, Oops, this one loc. So the previous one we have used these things. So when it comes to iloc, we just need to put the ru is in second element, so we have to put the 1, and also we don't need the colon. So there comes, it's the exact same thing. Let me show you so you can get an idea. So you can see that these two are exact same thing, but I have used the loc in the initial one, and the last one I have used the iloc function, and you can identify the difference easily. The first one, the loc is the label based, as I said earlier, and the iloc is the index based positioning. So yeah, that's how it works. And also, if you want to include India and China, we have used the same thing in the previous one. But when it comes to here, you can just put 1, 2, and 3. It will print the exact same thing. There we go. So bravo. That's it. So in addition to keep the country and capital column, we did as follows with the loc. So yeah, you remember that one. We have added the country and the capital column with this one. So let's see like this one. Country and capital. Oops. So how we can do that the same thing here? Very simple. So country and capital is 0 and 1. Just put 0 and 1. There we go. So country, capital, these three things. So you can now better clearly understand the difference between the loc and iloc. It's almost exactly the same thing, but we use the label method there and we use the index method here. And finally, one more thing. In order to get all the rows and only country and capital, we just need to get rid of these things and just put the colon here. I don't need this line again. So I'm going to erase it, this one. So there comes, we get all the rows and only the rows and columns. Um, yeah, I guess I have told everything I have noted down. So let's have a look in some more questions. Learn by doing more practice. See you again in another video. Bye bye.